I spent nearly 15 years in an orphanage. It is an inclusive orphanage. So you can, I think probably you've been to the orphanage. The children get the food, shelter, and everything. But after what? That's a big question. Even for the still the many institutions, they don't have any answer. How long we can keep them? How long they can stay in the orphanage? That's all made in my mind actually. When they were kids, it was okay. They just play and watching television, enjoy and having the food. But once they become an adult, they should play a very important role in art and play a valued role in the community. Otherwise, yeah, they may not get the dignity or respect. That's what happening to anyone actually. Even after you completing your graduation, if you just stay back at home, what will happen to your dignity? That you know all very well. And we have very well the well-known Tamil word "tendasore" in everywhere knows that will. But unfortunately, these people they just staying back at whether the parents are in mostly they are ended in the institutional care. And in the institutional care, from my experience, I spent most of my younger age in the orphanage, and I became the director of the orphanage. I realized not only in the orphanage where I grown up, but most of the institutional care, they get amazing food, shelter, medical care, and everything. But that's not enough. They should play a valid role. For that, we need to identify the right job profile and we need to check their skills and ability, and then based on that we need to creating an opportunity to get job and independent life. That all made me to initiate the Sristi village. I tried with many things. I tried to get a job for them, but I'm talking in 2008-9. It is not easy to get a job. First of all, they are not recognizing them, and second thing, and the people said this is the highly dangerous for the people with intellectual disability to work in industries because they're using the big machineries or the electricity. So there are always some lot of reasons behind it not to provide a job. But that how long they can stay in the home, and some of them they just stayed for a longer time and even died in the orphanage itself. That all made me to think. And also we were getting so many people from the police station or from the railway station, and the people just referred from various places, and people just abandoned them. And one of the case, it's really heartbreaking for me. When I was the director of the orphanage, I got a call from the Jipmer hospital. And the doctor called me and they said, there is a boy in the hospital, is possible to admit in the orphanage. And then I went, just very casually I found a boy around 20, 23 years old, sitting on the bed, and I saw the tears on his eyes. That's it. He couldn't speak anything verbally, he couldn't communicate anything, but from my understanding, he was looking for someone. Then I asked the doctor, and the doctor said, someone admitted a few days back for the fever. He completely recovered, and no one turned back to bring him home. And I just, and then I got the address from the case history. I checked whatever the details they provided, all are not the truth. They just give any fake details, and then voluntarily abandoned him. And then I brought him to the orphanage, and he's not a one case. There are many people with a disability abandoned them. That all made me, we need to do something for them, and they should be productive. That all experience made me to search what are the jobs they can do well. And then with a small pilot project, I found the farming is one of the things they can do well. That was very interesting story with starting from the little to growing the little like a plants, and these people so happy to see how they are growing. And when they started to harvest the vegetables, they feel very proud, something they're giving back. Until then they are just dependent. Now they are giving back to the community, and once they start to produce something, they automatically they got the confidence in their life. Until then they feel very inferior. But I think the same for everyone, and for us, it's not only for people with a disability. If you are giving back something to your family or to your own community, you feel proud, and automatically your own family recognize you. Okay, she or he is giving back something. So that way the whole thing started. And then the most important learning for me, the social role which we are playing, that's most important. If you are not playing a valid role in this society, then you are done. Actually, nobody will recognize you. Nobody will give respect to you. That's what happening in their life. I'm trying to create through Sristi, creating a valid role to play and using their time protectively, how they can be more productive or useful their time. That's all made me to initiate Sristi. So in the orphanage itself, it's a great experience for me to understand their life actually of the people with disability, and that helps me understand the strength also. So it's an inclusive orphanage. You have a chance for the neurotypical children and also the disabled children, and then you don't find any big difference actually. So they were fighting each other. That's fine actually. If you are fighting with a child with a disability, that means you are treating him or her equally. You don't find the difference. I feel in a very positive. I found that's a very positive things. They have a lot of quarrel. They have a lot of play together. They're supporting each other. When someone is not unable to eat, they started to feed their friends. So that's the beauty of inclusion. But very unfortunately, it's not happening in majority of the places. But we need to create a space, and then inclusions can. It's not a magic. It cannot happen in a just vacuum place or suddenly cannot appear. So we need to create an opportunity from the childhood onwards or from the kindergarten onwards. We should create a inclusive space for the children with the disability and also for the neurotypical children. They have a chance to interact each other and they have a chance to play together. Then only they slowly understand the needs of the children with the special need, the neurotypical children. They can support, they don't see them as different or apart from them, or they don't look at them as a charity. But nowadays, how the society, they're looking at them in a charity mode. I think not necessarily to look at them. Actually, just to accept them. Yes, they have a little challenges. We need to change the environment that helps them to act in a better way. Just adding the ramp or just adding the lift or just to make accessible devices or communication devices so they can communicate very well. So that just small changes itself, we can bring the biggest change in the scenario. So that way the orphanage helped me. Okay, we don't need to really feel them as a pity, actually, not necessary. It's okay to fight with them. That way the whole thing started, So they are equally fight. That means it's proud. I'm very proud to say, yeah, it's okay. Nothing problem to fight with a child with a disability. That because I'm treating and accepting a person in equally. And then after I completed my study and after I from the orphanage started to travel, actually, whether it's happening only in the orphanage where I grew up or in any other institutions, or is there any best models are available so that I can replicate and I can support these people. Then I move on to the north part of India. I was in a various associated. I have done volunteer services in many places. And I understand in India there are so beautiful, amazing special school therapy centers are all there. But these people, once they become an adult, there is nothing actually. So all the schools, they are taking care of them until 18 or 20 years old. Afterwards, even that school itself, they don't know what happened to their graduates after 20 years or 22 years because they are busy with taking the new children. And then after 22 years, they don't have any other program or there is no job opportunity and they just go back to their family or ended in any institutional care. Even in the family, the parents are getting old. And whenever we meet the parents, their biggest worry is what will happen to my child after me. So they are getting old. The children are also getting older, but they don't know what to do. They don't have any job. So mostly, from my experience, what happened if the families are well-to-do, they construct a wonderful room with air condition, with a television, with a housemaid, and then they're staying in the room itself and watching television mostly. And that's it. Actually, that way we got one boy actually in Pondicherry. The parents, after I initiated the Sristi, the parents called me and they said, my son is watching television 24 hours. Is any possible to bring him to Sristi? I thought, so, okay, let's go and meet. And I went in the morning, 10 o'clock, actually. And then I was watching television. His face is swelling, and the eyes are so red, very red. And then I checked with his mother, and mother said he's watching television 24 hours. And if he switch off the television, he got angry and break the television. He started to beat his parents. He becomes so violent and aggressive. He become addicted. Actually, it's difficult for him to get rid of television, watching television. And I started to watch television along with him. I succeed to switch off the television in the evening 5 o'clock.
Oh.
Whole day I was sitting next to him and then tried to convince. And then finally I convinced with one condition. He agreed to come to Sristi. He mentioned, okay, I will come along with you, but you need to take my television also. So I took his television in one hand, and then I hold him another hand, and I brought them to Sristi. And his television is still there, and nobody watching the television, and he's busy in taking care of animals.
Wow.
That's the transformation can see if you create a space. So no one going to be addicted to watching television. And the same thing with many adult boys and girls who are just ideally sitting at home. And even just imagine yourself if you don't have anything to do at home, just sitting ideally, and your parents providing your food, shelter, and whatever you need, you'll become mad. You will get frustrated. How long you can just sit in the room? That's what happening to them also. And is just one classical example how the television also you become addicted to watching television, and he is not interested just watching one program or one movie. He just keep on changing because he just get bored and frustrated, nothing to do in his life. That made him to watch television. At least somehow I'm engaging myself watching this television. So that's the thing. Otherwise, this is such a nice guy. If you create, but for everyone, if you create an opportunity where they can excel their skills, then they don't get addicted with anything actually. So that's the way I brought him, and he's now is the one who taking care of our animal. So that's all the travel helped me to understand the life of people, not only happening in the orphanage, not only in Pondicherry, not only in Tamil Nadu, but it's happening all over India and everywhere. The life of people with intellectual disabilities is the biggest challenge. And parents also the biggest worry. They don't have any options unless they always whenever I meet, they are always asking who going to take care of my son, who going to take care of my daughter. It's always their worries actually. And even when you meet the parents who are like 60 years or 70 years, it's so pathetic to see them. They started to cry and weep, and they said, if I know more, I don't know who's going to take care of them. So the parents or the school has to have the clear plan. Actually, if someone who joined in our school, or if we have a child with special needs in our family, we should have the clear transition plan. Okay, after me, who going to take care of it? If I am in the schools, after the school, what the child going to be become, what kind of profession the child can play, what role they can play, how we can create the opportunity. These are the things we need to prepare in advance. I mean, the day one, you came to know that you have a child with a special needs, you have to plan, and you have to identify what are the services available next to you. Or in the when the school join in our the child join in our school, the school has to take immediate action and create a clear transition plan. I think it's a long way to go. So we are taking small efforts in different parts of India, and I hope slowly we will find the clear answer what we are going to do that. So after through the experience in the orphanage and my travel, I understand the farming is one of the things that really helps. And also the another thing during my travel, I found many children with a disability who are living in the rural villages, not in the cities. And even the statistics says around 75% were all living in rural villages only. But unfortunately, all these institutions are located in the
Mm.
cities, and there's a huge gap actually. This people were not having any accessibility to reach the service center. Then I thought better we can go to any remote village and to start to support them. That way, I moved to this village, and then there is no school, there is no training center, and there is nothing actually happening in these villages. But I identified more than 300 people with a disability in one block. I'm talking about just Milam block, 47 villages. When I went for a door-to-door survey and identified the people with the disability, and we found one child who locked in the door, one child tied in the rope. And there are so many cases are still there. And when we meet the parents, and they don't have any idea what to do, and there is no school. What they said, we just brought them to the hospital, and the doctor said he will be recovered soon, he will be fine soon. That's the answer they got, and nothing else actually. So they just they have a only medical approach. They thought it's like a disease. When we give the medicines, it will recover, but that's not true actually. It's a disability. You need to provide proper interventions, proper therapy. They need a special education. But unfortunately, due to their ignorance, and they said that we both are working, both are daily wages, we have to go to job, otherwise we cannot feed our kids. We have another kids, we have to look after them. So for the safety of our kid, we tied in a rope. So they have a valid reason behind it, but because they don't have any other option. So that's all made me to initiate this project. And when you visit any villages, what you see, you can see the chicken, you can see the cows, you can see some vegetable garden. That's all there. So I thought, okay, maybe we can use all those things in the community living model. So the people, let them come and stay and work and learn some farming skill, generate some income, and become independent in their life. But the most important thing, let them be happy, let them have some food, enjoy their life. Then we slowly move and check their abilities. That was my first primary goal, was there in the very beginning days. After seeing them, their life in the villages, so let them get a proper food, nutritious food, and then just listen to music, dance. So that's where the whole thing started. And even nowadays we follow the same thing. If someone who joining in our community, the first thing, let the person be happy. So actually we learn mostly, we enjoy our life when you feel happy actually. So first we make them to feel comfortable and let them like the places, and slowly we start to assess the child. So how the life here in Sristi, it's a 10 acres of farm, and we have the around 40 people with intellectual disability, all of them adult boys actually. Currently we are not taking girls, because in the beginning I was alone, so it's difficult for me to take girls, especially during the menstruation time when they need little care and support. So I thought, let's start with the boys, and slowly we can also support the girls. So that way, now until now we have only boys. We need to soon we have to move change, because now we have half of my staff are the women staff are here. So the what we, our life happening. So we started in the morning, 4:35 in the morning, and we have having a yoga meditation, and we have a Surya Namaskara, and afterwards we move on to the our day starts 7 o'clock. All of them we go to the farm, and we divide the group into 5 to 8 people in each group, and each group may have the one team leader, whether he's a special educator or specially trained person to look after the people with the disability. Meantime, they are having a training in the particular domain, like a chicken farm or a dairy farm or a vegetable farm, or that way they trained in particular domain. Each group has the assigned responsibility every day. They go 7 to 9. That's our first session. In between, we have a tea break. It's just imagine it like a community of people living in the farm, and then one group taking care of chicken, one group taking care of our dairy farm, one group taking care of vegetable garden, harvesting, planting, watering. So it's a kind of busy in the morning, actually, everyone, and supporting each other. And in between, we have a tea break. Everyone come together and sharing some stories, having some snacks, and then again go back to the field. So you can feel the life full of engaged and full of enthusiasm. Everyone get engaged. So a lot of and some happiness, and so everything, all emotions you get to express it. And then 9 o'clock, everyone go to take shower, and then we have a breakfast, and then again all the breakfast also we have a community kitchen, and then one group normally working in the kitchen, they helping in the with the kitchen amas or a chef, and cutting the vegetable, washing, and all this one group they can do. So and then we have a academic portion also, but with a very limited hours. It start in the 10 o'clock and then finishing in 3 o'clock. During these hours, they learn the concepts like a money concept, color concept, a number concept, or some basic alphabet which is required for them, and then how to handle the money, which is whatever the skills which is required for their adult independent living skills. That's what we are teaching. And after 3 o'clock, they again have a small break, and 3:30 we'll go back to the farm, and 3:30 to 5:30 we'll again work in the farm with whatever the assigned work. And 5:30 to 6:30 we have a dancing hours, and we play the music and everyone dance, and then just a leisure, and you can find the huge amount of energy explode there. We have such a loud speakers are there, and then the people love to dance. You cannot imagine how enjoying they're listening all the folk songs and all the music, whatever they love to do that. We all, even the staff and everyone, we all dance. And then if some they play whatever, I mean, we have a different. We have football, volleyball, which it depends if their interest they can play. That's a 1 hour just for the play and recreations. Depends wherever. Or some people they just ideally sitting. So that way the whole evening. And then again 6:30 our day end with the gratitude circle. So everyone come together and we sit in a circle and express the gratitude of the particular on that particular day. They can show their gratitude in any form by words, or expressing to the food, or to sun, or to water, or to rain, whatever it is. But everyone has to say thank you to the particular thing. Sometimes they to teacher, sometimes to the cook, sometimes to the food. So it's interestingly you can express how gratitude they are to. Even sometimes we get here, I'm so grateful to our little puppies. It was so nice to holding in my hand. I was happy to have the puppies in my arms. It was so nice. And also you cannot imagine, you cannot even think actually how they connected with the nature. And when sometimes they're telling, oh, I'm so grateful to the rain because my plants were dying. Now suddenly I'm getting rain. It's so nice. So that way they connected with the nature, with animals, or to the people. So that's the gratitude cycle. Every evening we have a gratitude cycle. Afterwards we go for a planning what we are going to do the next day, and what theme or what the assigned work. So the day before they know tomorrow morning I'm going to do this. That the tomorrow whole day is structured in this way. So before going to go to bed, they know tomorrow structure. Okay, these are the thing. If anything special thing happening, we'll inform earlier. If any guest arriving or someone birthday or whatever it is, we have the very clear. Everyone knows what's going to happen tomorrow in our community. So they prepared well. It's not going to be any surprise for them, because it's also one of the things you need to, when you work with the people with intellectual disability, you need to have a clear structured plan in your day, and they should know in advance. So they prepare themselves. And some of the, but we do not have the autistic people, but they need the structure plan. If there is any change, it's a little challenging for them to adopt. Similarly, for us also, for adoption, it's not easy. Suddenly something happen, we need to track, and then, oh yes, there's something happening. So it's always in advance to tell them, okay, tomorrow we are going to do this thing. So that way the whole evening will end. And afterwards we'll have a dinner, and then after dinner they will have another circle with a lot of fun, and then they go to bed. So we are not forcing them at any point. Oh, you need to go to bed at 8. You need to go to bed 9. No, actually we say, okay, this is our schedule. But if you want to spend some time more with your friends, you want to talk, I want to listen music, you can take it, but make it sure before 10 you go to bed and sleep. And because we're getting up earlier. So that way, everyone slowly adopting our lifestyle. But these people are having a different background. Someone was locked in a room for 3 years. Some I said someone watched television. Someone was on the street for more than 5 years. So they have a various background. But adapting to our lifestyle, it takes time. So we always wait until they get adopted our lifestyle. We helping them to slowly get up in the early morning, and then helping them to feel comfortable with their favorite food. We always ask them, what is your favorite food? And then the new member always having a lot of advantage. So whatever the food of the menu is basically prepared based on the new member interest actually. So if they like some food, then we prepare in the so they feel comfortable. Okay, I like this family, I like this community. Then once they feel comfortable, and easy for a person to adopt in to live in this community. So that way, slowly, one person who join in our community. It's a 3 years structured program. It will be called Adult Independent Living. So in during this time, mostly they learn all the skill which is required for anyone to live independently without the support of parents, without anyone. And they also along with some job skills. But afterwards, we assess their skills and interest in which domain they are having skill, which domains which is suitable for them. And after 3 years, we are associate partnering with one community college in Pondicherry. It's called Sri Vivekananda Rural Community College. They are having almost 16 different trades, starting from the automobile mechanic, or the housekeeping, hospitality management, first aid, caregiving, that different trade. And these people, they can choose what domains are suitable for them, and they go for a training for 6 months to 1 year, and slowly they identifying their job. And one of the job is very much possible for them to get job is the housekeeping, because there are many resorts and the hotels in Pondicherry, and then they're happy to have them in their team. So that way we are working. And then second group, those who are all, I'm talking about the first group who are the mild and borderline disability. They can easily learn and trainable and get job and lead independent life. And second group who are trainable, but they always need some support system. They cannot work independently. For that group, we started one community called Tulit, where we are starting to sell our vegetable. And very recently, we started to produce ghee from our dairy farm. We have a dairy processing unit. And soon we are planning to start one herbal processing unit. So where they are working under some supervision, someone supervisors or some guide will be along with them. So that it's like a collective work. They cannot work independently, but when they work in a group, they play a valid role. That's the second group. And the third group who are between the disability, between the severe, moderate to severe level of disability, they can work, but they need intensive care and guidance. Actually, they cannot be just. You cannot just leave them alone. They always need some attention, some guidance for intensive supervision. For them, we cannot create any job, but they involve watering the plant, and they working under their teachers. That way, the three group we are helping them. The first group mostly what we are envisioning, they get job and become independent. Already it happened to one batch. And then the second group that we are working on it, and still we are finding what are the other opportunity we can create. And we are also planning to start one tea shop, so that they can start run a small cafe, because it's all skills they learned in the community. They normally cook amazing coffee and tea and everything in the community. So why don't we create one tea shop, or someone can run, and it's like our own community, you know. So run a shop, and our trainer, or our group of people, and one can make a tea, one can serve, one can wash. You know, so like 3-4 people they engage and run their tea shop. So these are all upcoming projects which we plan, and hopefully soon. But this COVID is so many things we stopped here because of the COVID. But otherwise, we're supposed to have one cafe in Pondicherry. That was we planned in 2020, and still we are waiting to start one cafe. And hopefully, one group they move to Pondicherry, and then they will run the cafe. Surely. So one of the limitation we always say, they are slow actually.
Huh.
The people say, oh, they are slow. But when you want to work with dairy farm and with the animals, you need to slow down. You cannot push the animals or pull the cows actually. You need to go along with the speed. So when we go for a grazing, you need to sit ideally. You need to just watch, taking care of your cows. That's beautifully fit. They don't rush actually,
Mm.
and they never get bored. They're just watching and enjoying taking care of animal. And then even in the farming, you don't need to force yourself to work, and you can just plant and watering it and whatever. First thing, the people saying slow, it's the biggest disadvantage. I found that's the biggest strength. They can
Mm.
work. When you work with animals, you need to be slow down, or in the farming. And second thing, we people get bored easily if you want to do the routine work, but they don't
Mm.
get bored. They are actually enjoying.
Ah.
Hey, I want to go take care of. This my turn. I want to go to take animals to the grazing. But this our people will get bored. No, how long I'm going to sit in the under the tree? But these people enjoy to watch, and they have so many things to tell the story end of the day. So
Mm.
that way, and there are. I don't see any limitation. That's a problem. The question is wrong to me.
Ah.
Always I see a lot of positiveness in them, and they are very honest. I must say, even they don't tell any lie to you.
Mm.
So they tell everything very openly to their people. Yeah. So even if they need anything, they don't hesitate. They ask directly in person. I want this, and that's good actually. That way you can see. That's the
Yeah.
human nature. I
Yeah.
must say. Unfortunately, all polluted with with the expectations from the community,
Yeah.
but they don't mind actually. Whatever they want, they can very directly to ask and express their own emotions. Where they want to cry, they cry. They want to laugh, they laugh. They want to dance, they dance. But if I ask you to dance and then you think, oh, can I dance now or not? Can I dance? Who are the people next to me? So, but they don't mind actually. Okay, I'm going to dance. I enjoy my life. So for me, actually, myself and my whole team, we are learning so many things from them. How to live fully, that you can learn from them. They are live fully, they enjoy their life. Very relevant questions for anyone actually who never have been working with the people with the disability. The first thing you need just accept actually. So they are the human being. That's the first thing. And second thing, the treat them age appropriate. That's the most important thing. Because when we see the people with intellectual disability or dwarfism, those who are just short, probably being seen him, or Down syndrome. When the people I see, they just treat them as a child actually, but they are not child. So you should treat them and interact with them with their age appropriate. That's the most important thing, and you don't need to pity on them actually, or just showing, oh, I'm so pity on you. You don't need to tell actually. So just feel to interact as usual with your friend, how you just talk with your friend or with your family member. That way it's better to interact. That's enough actually. And then another thing, when you do, if they want to ask any question, they can check their receptive skills. Sometimes you need to slow down and using the very easy and simple words for understand. And someday when they respond, it may not verbally clear for you to understand. Then you need to wait until they complete the sentence. Sometimes you just over excited and then ask them more questions. So it depends on a person. You need to be just slow down and listen. Completely listen the whole sentence and you respond. So those things, it's enough. Just when you start to accept as they are, then we don't need to nothing. So that's one of our vision. We want to create a self-sustaining community, but it's a long way to go. Actually, I must say, because when I initiated in 2013, it's one of the three values always keep in my mind. This one is the self-sustaining, eco-friendly, and inclusive. These are the three major values we are always keeping in our mind. So self-sustaining, we should not depending on others. The community itself should generate enough income to lead life, but that's still is the working. So currently, our farm helping us to get our vegetable, our dairy farm from we are getting our milk and ghee, but still is for paying the salary to our staff and for the running cost, we totally depends on our donations, and also the government started to support Indian government and some of the corporates who are helping us in our farm projects. It's like both funds and from the the money which we are generating from our farm, that's mutually supporting. But hopefully we will start a social enterprises like a herbal processing unit. I think we are marching towards in this direction. Slowly, we can rise our need and our requirement through our farm or through our social enterprises. But completely 100 percentage independency with the financial terms, I think it's a challenging one. From my experience, I understand, because the needs of the people with the disability almost double than the any neurotypical. They need some kind of medical intervention, therapeutic intervention, all are very expensive. And then even the living conditions also, you need to have accessible toilet, accessible infrastructure. So it's adding and more cost in the living expenses. So we are depending both on income generating from our own enterprises and also from the funds which we receive from the government or other funding agencies.
Okay.
So currently the government policy and the law is very favorable to the people with a disability or children with a disability, I
Okay.
must say, because we are the country who ratified with the UNCRPD, United Nations Convention of Rights of Persons with a Disability. We are the pioneer, very early countries to ratify. And also in recently in 2016, we have the Rights of Persons with a Disability Act or Education for all very well favorable for the inclusive education. But in terms of infrastructure wise, in terms of the experts or the accessibility in education or the universal curriculum, these are all lagging actually. So even the teachers, also the mainstream teachers, also not ready to accept a child with special needs in their classrooms. That's not their mistake, but they are not prepared enough to have a one children with the special needs in the classroom. So we need to prepare our classrooms, our teachers, our infrastructures, our curriculum. It should be accessible in a format, and the curriculum should be also the universal curriculum for children with a special need and also for the neurotypical children. And then the biggest advantage currently, what I see in the inclusive education is the peer education. So they are both the special needs children and also neurotypical children. They are in the same environment in the classrooms, and it's a very simple thing. When you are like a kid, you'll be more attracted or more listening to your friends than your
Yes.
parents or to teacher.
Yeah.
It's normally we are more attracted with our friends, and whatever the friends tell, that's most important for us actually.
Yeah.
So in that way, if a child with a special having a chance to go to the mainstream school, they have a huge chances for learn skills or learn many things from their friends than from the teachers or from the parent. So even the buttoning skill I see when in the classroom, if the special needs children doesn't know how to do buttoning, and this boy, the friends, you don't know this thing is a small thing, and then they start to do buttoning, and the next time you have to do yourself. So the child itself naturally they learn actually how to do take care of themselves, and they include in the play activity. So, and again, the education, we are having a very limited definition. That's the problem. Actually, education is not just in getting marks or writing homework, just to learn, doing your activity. But the education is a very wide subject actually. So when the child they interacting each other, if the child playing together, they are having a chance to playing during their midday time. Actually, this all is a learning actually. Such a wide space are there for children with special need. This space is very important. But unfortunately, our education system only focus on exam marks and the notebook work, writing things. They're very limited. They're using only memory alone. They don't see anything else actually. So unfortunately, these special need kids they get failed in the examination. They don't know how to write. They don't know how to express it, and they immediately they are putting a label on them. Oh, this child is in dyslexia. This child having the intellectual disability. This child cannot go until 9th standard or 10th standard. So I think the whole education system has to change actually. And then if you just only focus on mark and the memory skill, then majority of the people, majority of the student, they cannot be part of the inclusive school. I mean, in the mainstream school itself. So that's the biggest problem. And then the accessibility again, the problem, far away from the home, the wheelchair users, and the classroom in the first floor or second floor, and the child having the multiple disability, and then the teachers also they are not ready to accept them, and they don't know what to do. How to interact with them, and the experts. Every school must be having them some special educator or the psychologist to deal with them. That's not also available. And that's the long way to go in this inclusive education. Whatever the current scenario, I think we are in the right way, but still the existing system is not at all favorable. Only the law and policy is very favorable to the people with a disability, but the existing education system not at all favorable. So what I suggest to the parents, maybe 1 or 2 days, let them go into the mainstream school, and rest of the day let them go to the special school. So whatever the skills which they learn very intensively, very in a closed circle, learn in a special school, and they can have a chance to interact with the peer learning and the peer because the age group is also important. The same age group person, they should mingle, interact with them, so the peer learning can get from the mainstream school. That way we have let the child have a chance to get learn skills and also being part of the mainstream society. Yeah, I think it's for me it's very pathetic to see to isolate them and to have run a special school. But I think there is no other school. But Montessori is one of the best method I see. Montessori method, because I am closely associated with some other Montessori schools, and schools also happy to take them children with a special need, because they are having more activity based learning. They don't much worried about your handwriting, how you write, so how you memorize, but they are giving more importance to whether you learn the concept or not. You understand the concept or not. I love those idea behind it, and also they're creating a space where anyone can be part of that group. Whether you are special need or you have neurotypical children, that they don't mind. They can just include and they can find the way. So the Montessori can help. With the government school and other so-called private school focused on marks, and that never works with with inclusive education, not at all actually. We built our school in the lorry maker method. We are using rat trap method that way. So there is a hollow in between the two bricks actually. So it's naturally functioning as a thermo insulator. If outside is surely. If outside is very hot, even that you don't feel the hot actually inside. And even the roof also, the filler slab which we are using with the old tile roof actually. So and even we from the day one onwards, we are struggling with the water. Actually, it's a rock place, So we need to collect each and every drop of water of rain. So we constructed the rainwater harvesting system in our school. Every drop of the water collected in a tank, it's around 50,000 rainwater harvesting tank. And again, we pump it back and we reuse it for our school need. And then it's completely solar powered. 100% the power which we are using is using the solar panel. And we having a lot of cows, so we're using the cow dung for creating the biogas, and we're using the natural farming also. In the farming, we don't put any outside inputs. We started to grow some chap and drop, like a gliricidia or moringa, and we can just chop and drop, and then these leaves we can use it as a mulching. That way, we started to plant many trees. So the trees are the amazing. That's the only thing will give the solution for any need actually for water. So once we're having the many trees, it's automatically create a biodiversity in your that's created a biodiversity in our campus. Even the last newsletter I wrote about it, actually, when I came in 2014, there was even I didn't see even a crow actually. It was nothing. It was a dry land. There was no birds at all, not even a single living organism on the land. But recently, a month before, a bird watcher who came to visited our campus, and he found the 18 different varieties of birds, and 3 are the endangering birds, and 1 it came from the European country. So nice to see it stop over in our community, and it just visited a day actually. In a day, he found 18 different birds actually. So he said he can every day you can see different kinds of bird. That way the slowly the biodiversity started. I think once we started to take care of nature, and nature itself taking care of us and bringing all the animals, and we started to build the open well collecting the water, and we created the swale system. And water falls on our ground, rain falls on our ground, it automatically connected channel to the open well. And that's a way slowly the water tables increased. In 2015-16 it was 17 was dry season. It's very hard for us, even we struggle for the drinking water. Now the water table slowly increasing. Our challenge is always helping us to learn new thing and building the new infrastructure. uh, so challenge is always good. Even though we struggle a lot without water, and even in the beginning days it's difficult to plant, and taking care of the plants at least 2-3 years with the existing water. The gray water, the water from the kitchen or water from the shower, we collecting and using the natural treating system, and then pump it back to the plants. So using every amount of water for the benefit. Then it's still we are in the learning process. And we're bringing the animals inside our community. Now we have a rabbit, chicken, ducks, dogs, and then cats. So they are all part of our life actually. We don't really need any special care. They take care by themselves. But we are happy being part of them, and then it gives being part of integrated system. We are not isolated with the nature, with the birds, with all like fishes in our farm, in our farm pond. So all are there. Yeah. So that way we are slowly creating the biodiversity and sustainable living style. And even our food style in our community is very basic food, vegetables, and some basic rice, and of course some salad, some soup which we are preparing from some herbal tea from our farm. But it never be like whatever a human being need, that food he will get it. We don't like luxurious food or something. We don't add anything extra. And if we need anything extra, we can have some special day. On that particular day we prepare it. So we don't but as much as possible we try to minimize our lifestyle, and we collect the old clothes also, and we use the t-shirts or some shawl, very basic dress also. And another thing, we use the napkins also. Use the washable pads or washable. My kids, now 4-month-old, she's using the washable diapers actually. And so that way we can small things which you are changing in your life. And then another latest things which we are in the whole community we are following, we started to use the ink pen actually. So nobody we thought about it actually. So we bought a ink pen. One of our admin head, he using ink pen. I think popularly knows Hero pen. And they asked, even you are still using ink pen? I said I'm using for the last 16 years. I surprised. Again, I asked. He said, "Yes, I'm keeping this one for 16 years." I didn't believe that, and he said, "Yes, this given a gift from my mom." And still I'm keeping this. That inspired me. And he said the biggest advantage I just buy one ink bottle and keep it for a year. Actually, that's true. But nowadays we are getting the pen for 2 rupees, 5 rupees, and whether you're using it completely or not, and just throwing it out. Then the day itself, we went and bought a pen for all our admin staff and all our staff, and we bought the ink bottle. Nowadays, we are going to use the ink pen, and then you will have a special attachment to the pen also. I'm so happy about that we made that's a very recent sustainability we started in our community, and everyone happy to have the ink pen. Just give some life, and we are sure you will use it for at least a year or many years actually, if it's safely taking care of it, and you don't need to throw it away using again and again buying the new pens. That way, as many as possible, we minimalize our life, and uh, try to not to harm to the nature. One thing is we see the life transformation happening through the nature. So we want to replicate this model. If anyone can come and visit and then take the whatever we learned, they can take it and then they can implement in any part of India. And also be inviting any research scholar. Already we are inviting the Loyola college or any research scholar. They can come and learn, and then we can create this model as a replication in any rural part of India. That's one of the vision I see. But my personal vision in terms of for the people with intellectual disability, they should play a valued role in the community. The people should recognize their skill. People should creating a space for them, creating a job opportunity for them. They should interact with them. At least we should see them in the public places. We should not hide them in a home actually. So that's what I envisioning in my life. At one point, the whole country must be accessible for any kind of people with a disability, and then people just interact and then just accept them as they are. That way, I envisioning the future of people with disabilities.